The fans make their way into Fenway Park for Game 4 of the 4-game series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, and welcome inside the broadcast booth as we get ready for Game 4 of the series. Yesterday, the Red Sox dropped the third game of the series, and it was the Blue Jays who powered up yesterday, led by their power-hitting right fielder in Jose Bautista. He was terrific again yesterday. He struck first in the sixth inning off Felix Dubron. It was the 200th home run of his career, giving the Jays a 2-0 lead. 2 innings later, with the game tied, he reclaimed Toronto's lead with his 24th career home run against Boston. He had entered the game in a home run drought, hitting just one in his previous 15 games. Now has a total of 18 on the season. We welcome in Jerry Remy. And Jerry, a tough loss yesterday for the Red Sox, but very productive for the top of the order.
Well, the top of the order has been very good for the Red Sox throughout this homestand, and of course the numbers have been amazing. 1, 2, 3 in the lineup. You start with Jacoby Ellsbury, last 13 games, a .404 average. That's getting on base an awful lot for a leadoff hitter. You see the last 9 games for Shane Victorino, 395 with 5 doubles and 10 RBIs. And of course Dustin Pedroia right now on a 6-game hitting streak, hitting .560. Now the Red Sox in a lot of these games on this homestand have been able to jump out in front, and one of the reasons is because those guys at the top of the lineup have been very hot. They did cool off a little bit yesterday in that game early, but we expect them to get on track again today against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Those numbers are brought to you by Wendy's. Now that's better. Well, today it is Mark Buehrle who's on the hill today for the Blue Jays. Buehrle is 4-5 with a 4.73 ERA, 6-9 in his career against Boston. Ryan Dempster, 5-8 on the season, will try to win the series for the Red Sox. We're back with the first pitch after this. Powered by Dunkin' Donuts, your New England Buick and GMC dealers, Infinity of New England, Salem 5 Bank and Pedroia's World, your New England Hyundai dealers, by Kia, and by Southwest Airlines. It's a warm day in Boston as the Red Sox and Blue Jays wrap up this series from Fenway Park. And the crowd settling in for day baseball in the finale of this series as the Red Sox have taken the field here today. So let's check out the visiting Toronto Blue Jays lineup. It's brought to you by Jordan's Furniture on this Junior Announcer Day.
Thanks, Mr. Orsillo. Hi, I'm Noah from New Hope, Pennsylvania. Leading off for the Blue Jays, the shortstop, Jose Reyes. The right fielder, Jose Bautista. The DH, Edwin Encarnacion. The first base, Adam Lind. In left field, Rajay Davis. The center fielder, Kobe Rasmus. The catcher, JP Arancibia. At third base, Maizarez Torres. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Munenori Kawasaki.
Nice job, Noah. On the mound today for the Red Sox is Ryan Dempster. His numbers are brought to you by Verizon Fios. He is 5-8 coming into his 17th start of the year. 4.15 earned run average in 95 and a third innings. 94 strikeouts on the year to 44 walks. And opponents hitting at 235 against Dempster. Last time out, he did beat the Colorado Rockies in a 6-inning effort in which he gave up 2 runs. He walked 2 and struck out 4.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you on Nesson by Southwest Airlines. They are 9th in the American League with 45 errors on the season. Brandon Snyder will be at third base. Jose Iglesias the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Daniel Nava at first base today. Left to right, Johnny Gomes, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Shane Victorino. And Ryan Lavarnway gets the start behind the plate, catching Ryan Dempster.
Umpire crew today has Tim Welke, the crew chief, in behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Mike Everett at first base, Bruce Dreckman at second base, and Dan Bellino is the umpire at third. Today's game is available in Spanish by pressing the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas tardes, amigos.
And warm conditions here at Fenway Park today. 83 degrees to start the game. Breeze out to center at 11 miles per hour, mostly cloudy. The forecast for the remainder of the day. The sun is out currently, kind of a hazy sunshine here at Fenway Park as we get it started. And Jose Reyes coming to the plate here for the Blue Jays to face Ryan Dempster. Reyes sitting at .333 with a home run, 7 runs batted in. The Blue Jays with a victory snapped a 4-game winning streak for the Red Sox here yesterday. And the Jays get a little closer in the American League East now. 7.5 games back of the Red Sox in the East. First pitch of the ball game is in there for strike 1, and we are underway. Blue Jays back to the 500 mark at 40-40. As Dempster with strike 2 jumps ahead 0-2. 40-40 for John Gibbons, the manager of the Jays on the year. As Dempster misses up and away.
A couple of fastballs followed by a splitter that time, but the splitter stays up in the zone.
Reyes with a swing and a miss, and a good start to the day for Ryan Dempster.
Well, Dempster didn't like the first split finger fastball he threw, so he goes with one more, and this one is down in the strike zone, out of the strike zone, and the swing and miss by Reyes.
So one down here in the first inning brings up Jose Bautista. Big day yesterday, 2 home runs in the game, and now 18 on the season. Hitting at .248 heading into today's action. Time now for today's Cold Hard Facts, which are brought to you by Coors Light. Multi-home run game by Bautista was his 4th already this year. Leads the majors in that category. 5 others have done so 3 times this year, including Miguel Cabrera. And Major League leader in home runs, Chris Davis. Overall was the 21st time in Bautista's career he's had at least 2 homers in a game, and the 2nd time this season that it has been against Boston. 2-0 pitch. And he turns on this, sending it foul. Not shot, but foul.
Yeah, Bautista sitting all over the fastball on that 2-0 count. He does get the fastball, but out in front of it, hooking it foul. Dempster going to the inside corner. Bautista out in front of it.
On the outside corner for strike 2.
Yeah, very generous strike call right there by Welke, the home plate umpire. That's a good sign for Dempster if you're going to get that one.
Two pitch. And that one missing high for ball 3. Bautista bats now, with Edwin Encarnacion waiting on deck for the Jays here in the top half of the first inning. This is drilled foul off to the left up into the top deck. And this year against the Red Sox in 9 games, Jose Bautista's got 4 of his 18 home runs on the year and a .321 average. Red Sox and Jays meeting 19 times in 2013. Payoff pitch. And Bautista pops it up. Out goes Pedroia to shallow right center. Here comes Victorino, who will make the catch for the second out. Well, aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And some great aerial shots of Fenway Park today as the fans settle in for Game 4 of this 4-game series. 2 down here in the first inning. It was Edwin Encarnacion, who's part of our key matchup, brought to you by Honda. 3 for 17 in his career against Dempster as he crowds the plate from the right side and takes strike 1. 268 average, 23 home runs and 66 runs batted in.
Red Sox do not have a complete shift on Encarnacion, but they really play him to pull, especially in that shortstop position. Very little room between the shortstop Iglesias and Snyder at third base.
And it's headed in that direction as Snyder cuts it off, fires to first, inning over. Dempster has a 1-2-3 first. The Red Sox are coming up from Fenway. At Fenway Park, and on the mound today for the Jays is Mark Burley. His numbers brought to you by New England Nissan dealers. 17 start, 4-5 with a 4.73 earned run average, 64 Ks to 29 walks. Opponents hitting at 276 against Burley, who likes to work very quickly, as you'll notice today. First pitch in there for strike 1. A lot of times hitters will have to back out and try to break up his rhythm a little bit because he gets it and throws it. Has always been that way. Of course, spending the bulk of his career with the Chicago White Sox. There's a roller foul.
And he got off to a tough start this year for the Blue Jays, but has been pitching much, much better recently.
Now, part of the turnaround for the Blue Jays has been due to better starting pitching, and their defense was not very good in the first couple months out of the year, but June has been a terrific month for the Blue Jays, who've kind of turned their season around. Leads the majors with a 17-8 record in the month of June. .680 winning percentage. This is to second on a hop. Kawasaki goes to first for the first out. Let's check out the Red Sox lineup. It's brought to you by New England Chevy dealers on this Junior Announcer Day.
Thanks, Mr. Orsillo. Hi, I'm Jack from Mooresville, North Carolina. Leading off for the Red Sox, the center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury. In right field, Shane Victorino. The second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. In left field, Johnny Gomes. At DH, Mike Napoli. At first base, Daniel Nava. The catcher, Ryan LaVarnway. The shortstop, Jose Iglesias. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Brandon Snyder.
Nice job, Jack, as here's Shane Victorino with one down in the first inning. Shane checks in, hitting just under 300 at 299. And hits a fly ball out to right center field. On the move is Rasmus. And he'll make the catch in front of Jose Bautista.
The Blue Jay defense is brought to you on Nesson by New England Honda dealers. They are 12th in the league with 49 errors on the season. Meiser is Torres at third base. Jose Reyes, the shortstop. Kawasaki at second. And Adam Lynn, the first baseman. Davis, Rasmus, Bautista in the outfield. And J.P. Arancibia doing the catching for Burley.
Two down here in the bottom of the first inning. And here is Dustin Pedroia. As he'll take strike one over the outside corner. Really hitting at 325 with 5 homers and 47 runs batted in. Pedroia tied for first in the majors in games played. This is game number 83 of the year for him. Out of a possible 84 games that the Red Sox have now played in, and comes in riding that 6-game hitting streak. So far 6 for 12 in the series against the Jays.
And Burley's certainly not a hard thrower, a guy that's going to be somewhere between 85 and 88 miles an hour with the fastball. Throw the changeup, the breaking ball.
And he walks Pedroia with 2 outs here in the first inning. Let's check in with Jenny Dell.
Well, Don, today's matchup of Mark Burley and Ryan Dempster featured 2 of the quicker pitchers in the majors. So for our AT&T Twitter question of the day, we would like to ask the fans at home, what aspects of the game do you feel are most affected by when pitchers are working quickly? So send us your tweets using the hashtag #QuickPitchers, and we'll reveal the best ones later in the game.
All right, Jane, thank you very much. We certainly appreciate pitchers who work quickly.
As a former infielder, I appreciate pitchers who work quickly.
2 down, Pedroia at first base. Johnny Gomes in the cleanup spot today. And Jerry, as you mentioned, this is a good opportunity to get David Ortiz really 2 days off.
Yeah, David Ortiz, Jared Saltalamacchia, 2 guys that have been playing an awful lot, getting the day off, at least to start the day today. And of course, the Red Sox with a scheduled off day tomorrow.
This is nubbed back towards the mound. Burley takes his time and fires to first for the out. That ends the first inning. Red Sox are retired with done with 1, no score. Presented by Xfinity on July 27th. The Portland Sea Dogs will take on the Harrisburg Senators in this family-friendly event, which also features Dog Day at Fenway and a performance by Kids Bop Kids, Billboard's #1 Kids Artist of the Year. Tickets start at $5. They can be purchased at redsox.com/futures or by calling 877-RED SOX 9.
First time at Fenway. How about a hot dog? Why not? Beautiful day for a hot dog on a Sunday. First game at Fenway Park. Go Sox. Got Nesson on there. Got everything. We'll get you one.
Well, Adam Lynn leads it off here in the second inning. And Lynn takes strike one on the start at first base for the Jays. A very good year. We talked about it earlier in the series. A guy that was taken off the 40-man roster by the Blue Jays last year at one point. And he grounds one right side as Pedroia to his left for the first out here in the second inning. Well, Dunkin' Donuts is your stop for summer refreshment. Dunkin' Donuts Cooladas are icy cool drinks, the perfect way to chill out and cool down during these hot summer days. So hurry into Dunkin' and grab a Coolada today. America runs on Dunkin'. First four retired by Dempster today, and there's Rajai Davis. Blue Jays are wrapping up their 7-game road trip that started in St. Petersburg against the Tampa Bay Rays. And they're now 2-4 on the trip, dropping the first 2 games of this series against the Red Sox before winning yesterday. The Jays have won 7 of their last 12 games away from the Rogers Center in Toronto. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Second strikeout for Ryan Dempster, 2 down.
Now that's exactly what Dempster likes to do. Get ahead in the count and expand that strike zone. He gets an 0-2 count and goes to the slider, and an off-balance swing by Rajai Davis. Fastballs to get ahead. The breaking ball will put him away.
So 2 down here in the second inning. Kobe Rasmus, 238, 14 homers, 37 runs batted in. And a great catch yesterday out in center field. He's tied for first among American League center fielders in home runs. He's got 14. It's in there for a strike, and it's 2-1.
Dempster shaking off the split-fingered fastball on the 2-0 count. Wants the slider and gets a strike on it. Fastball inside.
This one fouled off to the left. We were mentioning the catch by Rasmus yesterday. It didn't look like he was going to get to this at all. Jonathan Diaz trying to get his first major league hit, and Rasmus says no. Well, Rasmus fouls this back. Hangs at 2-2. Well, different today for Ryan Dempster. So used to the glove shake as part of his delivery. Has been for a long time, but so far today not doing it. Felt at one point that he was tipping his pitches and went to that, and so far has not really done it today. 2-2 pitch. Is fouled it off down the left field line, out of play.
We've seen a couple of different starting pitches that change things. John Lester changing his delivery a little bit in his last start. Dempster without the wiggle of the glove.
In the dirt, and it is a full count. Dempster's retired the first 5 that he's faced today. On deck is JP Arancibia, who truly catches every day. Day game after night game. He wants back in, and he is in again. This is to shallow right center. Ellsbury will come in. He has plenty of time. Makes the catch go to the cap high to end the inning. Well, it'll be Mike Napoli to lead it off for the whole half of the second inning. Last half of the second inning back at Fenway Park. Mike Napoli leading it off and taking ball one. Mark Burley threw 13 pitches in the first inning. 2-out walk to Dustin Pedroia before he got Johnny Gomes to ground back to the mound and to end the inning. As Napoli takes the strike and the count evens at 1-1. 262. 9 homers and 54 runs batted in for Napoli. And a 6-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday as he was 0 for 4 in the game. Ranks this one foul off to the left. Lately, Napoli has been having some trouble with strikeouts.
102 strikeouts now on the season for Napoli to go along with 32 walks.
And a liner into left center field for a base hit. That's the first hit of the ball game. And Napoli with a single to begin the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, Burley, a guy that Napoli has struggled against, only 188 coming into the game with a home run. This time the line drive base hit. Burley knew it was trouble. He left it up in the zone, and Napoli with the base hit to get things going here in the second.
So lead runner on for the Red Sox here in the second inning, and it brings up Daniel Nava. Nava 3 for 10 in the series. As he takes strike one. And Burley in his career against Boston 6-9 with a 4.57 earned run average. 21 appearances, 20 starts against Boston, and most of those coming as a member of the Chicago White Sox. Also last year, of course, with the Marlins. There's the pitch will miss, and it evens at 1-1. Over his last 7 outings has recorded 5 quality starts and has a 2.72 earned run average in his last 7 outings. As Jerry mentioned, things have improved vastly for Burley here lately after what was a very, very tough start. Started against the Red Sox back on May 11th at Fenway Park and tossed 7 scoreless innings in a 3-2 victory. This is to right field and a base hit for Nava. Napoli will stop at second as Bautista gets it back in, but it's back-to-back base hits to begin the second inning.
That's a very nice approach by Daniel Nava. When you're facing Burley, we mentioned he's not a very hard thrower, and you got to kind of think up the middle other way against him. And that time Nava does go to the opposite field hard on the line for the base hit. So hard that Napoli has to stop at second base as Bautista quickly gets to the baseball.
So 2 on, nobody out. And Ryan LaVarnway coming up. LaVarnway hitting at .286, no homers and 3 runs batted in. Playing time has been tough to come by. Saltalamacchia has been catching virtually every day. And only his 3rd start since coming back to the Red Sox from Pawtucket. And has been here since June the 18th. 3rd stint of the year for LaVarnway, but a lot of time logged by Saltalamacchia behind the dish, so he'll get today off and tomorrow. Of course, a scheduled off day for the Red Sox. LaVarnway lifts a fly ball, foul ground, Lind, and that'll fall fair and jump up into the seats. So a ground rule double that will bring plateward Mike Napoli to give the Red Sox a 1-0 lead. How about that? Just drifting down the right field line. 3 Blue Jays going after it. It lands fair and then up into the seats.
Well, the breeze today is blowing out towards center field, and that ball was hit high enough to be affected by it. Now, it's not a very strong breeze, but it's one enough to bring a ball back like this. This ball appeared to be in foul territory. You see the direction Lynn is headed in, and then it falls in fair territory. So that certainly got a little bit of a push from that breeze blowing out towards center field. Then the bounce into the stands for the ground rule double.
So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out and a run in. As here is Jose Iglesias. And he'll take strike 1 from Burley. .414 average to start the day for Iglesias with a home run and 9 runs batted in. It's in 31 of 36 games with an at bat for the Red Sox this season. In the series against the Jays, going 4 for 11. Iglesias with a swing and a miss.
And a couple of change-ups in this bat to Iglesias away from him. That one at the bottom of the strike zone. Infield back early in the game here for the Blue Jays, all the way around.
And it's Snyder waiting on deck for the Red Sox as Boston bats here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And Iglesias fouls it off into the seats. Covidien, delivering innovative healthcare products across the globe, is a proud sponsor of the Red Sox Foundation. There's a pop-up foul off to the right, out of play. Now the 3rd, LaVarnway at 2nd, a run in, nobody out here in the Boston 2nd inning. And Iglesias with a swing and a miss. Burley needed that. Picks up his first K of the day and gets Iglesias for the first out of the 2nd inning.
A steady diet of changeups that time from Burley to Iglesias. Again, a changeup down out of the strike zone, and Iglesias chases it. So a big strikeout for Burley to get the first out. Runners remain at second and third. Infield remains back.
Here's Brandon Snyder, who in 63 games with the Pawtucket Red Sox, hit at .267. Made his Red Sox debut Friday night as he pinch ran for Stephen Drew in the fourth inning, and then remained in the game at third base as he takes strike one. He had been selected from Pawtucket on the Major League roster on Tuesday. Played first base and third base with the Paw Sox, signed as a minor league free agent after he had been released at the end of spring training by the Rangers. Snyder fouls it off, hit it twice in the batter's box. And is down on the count 0-2. The Red Sox would like to get to Burley early as they have got a run here in the second inning and threatening with runners at second and third and one out. Snyder drills this towards the gap in left center field. That'll get down. From third base comes Nava. Lavarnway will score. Throw to second will be not in time. Brandon Snyder drives in a pair, and the Red Sox take a 3-0 lead.
Well, that's a feel-good inning right here. Guys that don't get a lot of playing time. Lavarnway with a double to drive in a run. Now Snyder, who just recently joined the Red Sox, gets that changeup. That changeup stays up in the zone, and Snyder jumps all over it in the gap in left center field. Two more runs come across. Red Sox with the early lead.
Still just one out here in the second inning, and Jacoby Ellsbury the batter. Second time through now for the Red Sox against Burley. And Ellsbury will take ball one outside. Jacoby grounded out to the second baseman Munori Kawasaki in the first inning. Foul back, 1-1. 4 hits in the inning and 3 runs so far for the Red Sox. Earlier this season had a very tough outing against the Red Sox. May 1st against Boston. About 3 home runs. Ellsbury now 5 for 18 in his career against Burley. That's outside for ball 2. Ellsbury grounds it foul outside of first. And Burley had some trouble with the home run ball earlier this season as he allowed a total of 11 home runs through his first 7 starts, but he's allowed just 2 over his last 9 starts. And not the way John Gibbons wanted to have today start off, as so far Burley has surrendered 3 runs here in the bottom of the second inning. 2-2 to count to Jacoby Ellsbury. And Ellsbury gets hit in the back. So that slipped out of his hand as he gets Ellsbury in the back.
Yeah, that's the changeup again right there that just as you mentioned, Don, got away from Burley and gets Jacoby Ellsbury right on the backside, right in the tailbone.
So 2 on and 1 out in the inning. Shane Victorino, the batter. Victorino flied out to center field in the first inning, 0 for 1. As he takes ball 1. The right guy up here, Red Sox leading hitter with runners in scoring position. He's got Snyder at second base, Ellsbury at first with 1 out. 1-0 is going to miss. 2-0. Burley's got a perfect game on his resume. Major League Baseball's 18th at the time, back on July 23rd of 2009 against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Remember that time with the Chicago White Sox?
Outside for ball 3, 3-0. And now a visit from Aaron Sebia. Take your gas savings deep. Sign up for Cumberland Farms Smart Pay check link and save 10 cents on every gallon every day. No gimmicks, no catches, just savings. Join for free at cumberlandfarms.com. Really running into some trouble here in the second inning. He's allowed 3 runs. Red Sox have 2 on, and now he's fallen behind Victorino 3-0. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Victorino hitting safely in 18 of his last 21 games. And riding a 5-game hitting streak coming into today. Looks like strike 2.
Victorino didn't like it, but looked like a pretty good pitch right down the middle of the plate. See pitch number 5, the location. Good pitch by Burley.
On the ground, foul. Snyder at second base, Ellsbury at first base, 1 out in the inning. Strike 3 call. Victorino doesn't like that either. He is rung up. Burley gets his second strikeout, 2 down.
That's surprising to see Shane take a couple of pitches like that right down the middle of the plate. Both fastballs for the strikeout. 5th, 7th pitch just about in the identical spot. Shane didn't like the first one, didn't like the second one, but both consistently called by Welke, the home plate umpire.
So 2 down for Dustin Pedroia. Dustin walked in the first inning, 1 of 2 walks given up by Mark Burley in his outing. As Pedroia takes ball 1. Dustin has gone 11 for 21 on the homestand. And a great homestand for Pedroia. He chops one towards third as Turris is going to tag the bag and end the inning. Brandon Snyder with a double to drive in 2. Red Sox score 3 times and take a 3-0 lead. 3-0. Red Sox have the lead as we head to the third inning. And leading it off here for the Blue Jays, J.P. Arancibia. Bottom third of the Blue Jays order. Arancibia is Turris and Kawasaki. And a pop-up. Foul ground as Nava heads over onto the dirt to make the catch for the first out of the inning. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox, invites you to join the walking club. Sign up today and get a cool wristband plus everything you need to start a walking program for better health. More at bidmc.org. One down here in the third inning. Meiser's Turris. 232 average, 5 homers, 17 runs batted in, back at third base. And sharing time there with Mark DeRosa. This is bloop to left. Gomes coming in, and Johnny will get there for out number 2. Are you a leader of a group of 20 or more? A Red Sox game at Fenway Park is the perfect place for your next outing. Call 617-226-6835 to talk with a group ticket representative now to plan the perfect trip to Fenway Park. Another great crowd on hand here today at Fenway Park. Series has been very well attended here at Fenway Park as it comes to its conclusion today. Minori Kawasaki back with the Jays, just called back up again after the Jays placed Melky Cabrera on the DL. So Kawasaki coming up and getting a start at second base today. We saw him at shortstop when the Red Sox were in Toronto.
And in tight at third base is Brandon Snyder. Kawasaki likes the bunt.
Drops that bunt down, and it will go foul.
If you're a good bunter, even when that third baseman is even with the bag, you still try to drop it down that third base line. Now, with 2 outs, they like to see guys swing, but Kawasaki has the ability to bunt for a base hit, then steal second and get in scoring position.
This one sliced foul back to the screen, and it hangs at 1-2.
I'm watching Kawasaki in that series up in Toronto. He's just a bundle of energy.
He's become a fan favorite, and when they had to send him down, the Jays fans were not pleased at all. Jose Reyes coming back to the active roster. Of course, you got to play every day at shortstop, but they love Kawasaki. So he is back here. First chance they had to open up a roster spot. 1-2 as he slaps it foul again. And the oldest Blue Jay to get their first major league home run. They did it at 32 years of age. On the ground up the middle, and that's going to get into center field. Iglesias was swung way over towards third base. And that one back up the middle and out of the reach. So a base hit for Kawasaki.
Yeah, also not playing very deep either. It's a split-fingered fastball, a good pitch by Dempster, but because of the speed of Kawasaki, Iglesias was not very deep. You can see right there, he's kind of shading him and moving to his right. The ball is hit to his left, can't get to it. Kawasaki at first, 7 steals on the season, caught 1 time. Wouldn't at all be surprised to try to see him go and maybe get in a scoring position with 2 outs.
So 2 down, a runner at first. That is the first member of the Blue Jays to reach today. Dempster had retired the first 8 that he faced on the afternoon. Now Jose Reyes. Yes, he'll take ball 1. Reyes, 29 years old, from Santiago of the Dominican Republic. Of course, breaking into the majors first with the New York Mets in 2003. Member of the Mets until 2011. 1 season in Miami. Prior to the big trade that took place between the Marlins and the Jays. Two and 0. That's going to miss for ball 3. 3-0 now to Reyes.
And all 3 pitches up from Ryan Dempster.
Second time through the Blue Jays order here for Dempster. And that's ball 4. All 4 pitches were up as he walks Reyes with 2 outs in the inning.
And that becomes very dangerous because that brings Bautista, that home run threat, to the plate.
They'll get set for every Red Sox game on NESN with Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. NESN's pregame coverage of the Sox begins an hour before every game. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, banking the DCU way. Now 2 on and 2 outs here in the visiting half of the 3rd inning, and this gives Bautista a chance. He represents the tying run as he stands in on the right side. He flied out to the right fielder, Shane Victorino, in the 1st inning. And then for strike 1 over the outside corner. Ryan Dempster 1-1 in his career with a 5.47 earned run average against Toronto. And a strike 2. Bautista hates it. Spins out of the box. Is down 0-2.
Yeah, didn't like it at all. A split-fingered fastball that stayed on the inside part of the plate and a little bit up in the zone. It was supposed to be down and away. And Bautista didn't like that call at all, but apparently it did get the corner.
Outside, and it's 1-2. 2 home runs here yesterday for Bautista, who's now got 18 on the year. Pretty good in this spot. 2 outs and runners in scoring position at 3:04. He's got Kawasaki, who can run well at second base. Reyes, who can run well at first base. And a little number in front of the plate. Off the mound is Dempster. He fires to first for the out that ends the inning. So the Jays strand a pair. We're through 2.5. Red Sox have a 3-0 lead. WB Mason has a clutch lineup of janitorial products that will mop up the worst of your cleaning problems. And WB Mason delivers same day, so your worst messes will be yesterday's news. Now it's on to the bottom of the third inning back at Fenway Park, and Johnny Gomes leading it off here for the Red Sox as he takes a pitch outside. A defensive change here for the Jays as Josh Tolley into the game now for Toronto. Apparently something wrong with Adam Lind as Lind comes out of the game. And Lind had grounded out to second base in his only at bat today, and played the first 2 innings defensively at first. Strike to Gomes, and it is 2-1. Johnny grounded back to the mound in the first inning, 0 for 1 today. Fouls it straight back, 2-2. Well, he's had a big series against Toronto. Friday night, a game-winning pinch hit. RBI single in the 7th inning against the Jays. This is popped up, foul off to the right, out of play.
Burley trying that backdoor curveball that time against Gomes, and Gomes able to foul it off, give himself another chance. Pretty good pitch there by Burley. That's one that a right-hander a lot of times will quit on.
Swing and a miss, and Gomes strikes out. That's the third strikeout for Burley. Let's check back in with Jenny.
Well, Don, Jose Bautista has been showing off his arm as he's thrown out 2 Red Sox players at the plate in the last 2 days. So today's Geico quote of the day comes from Red Sox third base coach Brian Butterfield, who formerly coached Bautista and knows the power he has. He said a lot of times what happens is when you see a lot of goose eggs on the board, you're caught a little bit in between and you want to push the envelope. I'm going to come back tomorrow with my chest out and we're going to push the envelope again. Well, Don, John Farrell said, I trust every decision Butterfield makes at third base.
Those two, of course, together in Toronto, and Brian Butterfield well aware of what Jose Bautista can do arm-wise, but they definitely were trying to score a run yesterday any way they could.
Yeah, the Red Sox were being shut down in that ball game, and nothing really happening offensively for them, so they were trying to push the envelope a little bit with nobody out in the inning. And Bautista made a fantastic throw all the way in the air from right field to get Shane Victorino.
I cannot think of another time that we've mentioned Brian Butterfield in that regard, so that's telling you something, as he has done a terrific job. As to center field, Rasmus puts it away, and these are the last 2.
You see Bautista getting a great charge on that one. That one's on one hop to get David Ortiz, and then the one yesterday all the way in the air. The collision with Aaron Sebia. Aaron Sebia holds on to the baseball, and Victorino out.
So 2 down here in the third inning, and it brings up Daniel Nava, who singled in the second inning as he takes strike 1. Nava's got 1 of 4 Red Sox hits. Boston scoring 3 times in the second inning off Mark Burley. And a ground ball right side. Kawasaki ranging to the outfield grass, makes the good throw and ends the inning. Red Sox down in order. We head to the 4th inning. It's 3-0 Red Sox. Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Eastern Bank. You always put others first. Wouldn't it be nice if your bank did the same thing? With products like a commitment and helping those in need. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. Now we head to the top half of the fourth inning on a beautiful day in Boston. Jerry, my monitor is on the fritz. I got nothing.
I know. Very dangerous situation. You can use mine, Don, if you need to.
And they have to.
It's a little bit far away, I know that, but you can make it. I think if you push that button to the left, right there, it might go on. Yes. Try that button there.
It says no sync.
Okay, just leave it alone. It might come on.
Edwin Encarnacion leading it off here in the fourth inning. And there's a strike over the outside corner. Nothing's happening.
We have engineers scrambling all over the place coming up.
Encarnacion batting for the second time today. Grounded out to third base in the first inning. Reaches out, fouls it off to the right, and the count evens at 2-2.
I don't think banging it's going to help.
I thought I'd smack it. That works sometimes, you know. Used to work with the old TVs.
Yeah.
I'm sure the truck company is happy that I'm smacking the monitor.
Yeah, I'd leave that alone. Next thing you'll have a bill in your box at Nesson pay for a new monitor. So I would leave that alone.
It's not working. This is lined into center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit in front of Ellsbury. And Encarnacion is on to begin things here in the fourth inning.
It's a little bit jammed that time by a fastball from Dempster, but able to push the ball and muscle it out into center field for the base hit. That ball hitting around the label of the bat of Encarnacion, but he's now 1 for 2 on the afternoon.
So Encarnacion at first base to begin things here in the fourth inning. Josh Tooley making his first appearance of the series, took over for Adam Lind, who left the game. I did get a report on the reason for Lind departing, as pitch in there for strike one. Truck is asking Jerry if I have a backup monitor in my bag. The answer is no.
That's surprising.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
You know, you can steal a lot of things from other ballparks, but that's tough to get away with the monitor.
Maybe a bigger bag next year. I could add it to my repertoire. I did change out the beef jerky. They'll be happy to know, because it had expired.
Time, yeah. It expired like 9 years ago.
Toll slaps it foul off to the left and up into the seats. Toll called up on June 7th from AAA Buffalo. Did you do something? Does it just pop back on again?
I'm trying to do the game. No.
0-2 is popped up. Comes in left field, moves back and over, and makes the catch. Encarnacion back to the bag at first. Well, tonight at 10, join Jamison Coyle and Jamie Erdahl for NESN Sports Today. Have a complete wrap of the series finale between the Blue Jays and Red Sox, and Naoko Funayama will get all the latest Bruins and NHL news from today's NHL draft. All this and much more on NESN Sports Today, tonight at 10, only on NESN. So now it's working. This is great. You didn't do anything.
I did nothing at all. I mean, technically, I have no clue about anything, so I could not fix it.
I wonder if smacking it around helped.
No, I think it's something in the truck. It was a truck issue, I believe.
So to first base, and back is Encarnacion. Red Sox enjoying a 3-0 lead with one out here in the fourth inning, and Rajai Davis, who struck out swinging in the second inning.
Dempster with a long look in after that pitch. He thought he had a strike down and away from Rajai Davis. Take a look in the Amica pitch zone, and looked like a pretty good pitch.
And a swing and a miss, 1-1. Brian Dempster, Canadian born, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays today. From British Columbia, and resides in Chicago during the offseason. On the ground and into left field, a base hit, well placed on the left side by Davis. And his first hit of the day. Encarnacion moves up to second base, 2 on with 1 out.
Now Davis continues his torrid hitting against the Red Sox this season. Nice little 4-game hitting streak now for Davis as he top spins one between third and shortstop for the base hit.
Two on, 1 away, and Kobe Rasmus coming up here for the Jays. Rasmus slide out to the center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury, in the second inning. And strike one. Ryan Dempster has been in the majors since 1998. He broke in with the Florida Marlins. Outside, 1-1. Time in Cincinnati, also the bulk of his major league time spent with the Chicago Cubs. For the trade last year that brought him to the American League for the first time. He joined the Texas Rangers. 7-3 last year with the Rangers, a 5.09 earned run average. Missing high and falling behind, 2-1. Dempster, a 2-time All-Star, 2000 and 2008.
And on top of all that, a total class act. He really is. True professional.
This is lined into right field and a base hit. Encarnacion's coming around from second. The throw goes to second, and the Blue Jays get on the board. So Rasmus with a single to right field drives in the Blue Jays' first run of the day.
And Rasmus gets a split-fingered fastball that time from Dempster and hooks the ball in the right field for the base hit. Only came in a game, a 143 hitter against Dempster, but picks up this base hit, drives in a run. That's his 38th RBI of the season. Little slip around second base for Rajai Davis.
So 2 on, 1 away. The JP Arancibia coming up. On a different success level so far for Dempster, second time through. He's given up 3 hits so far. And now a run. Runners at first and second, 1 down. JP Arancibia fouled out to the first baseman, Daniel Nava, in the third inning. And he takes strike one.
And Dustin Pedroia at second base really trying to keep Rajai Davis close. Of course, Davis, very good base stealer, and you'll see Pedroia come in even closer than that, almost holding him on like a first baseman.
Pickup play at second, and Davis back to the bag.
That time Pedroia was right on the bag.
Rajai Davis takes off for third, really on his own, because Rasmus didn't go anywhere at first. And Davis steals third without a problem.
I mean, that's amazing. And you got the second baseman holding him on almost like a first baseman, and Davis still steals third base.
So now 19 on the year for Davis. First and third with one out. And it's a ball and a strike to JP Arancibia. In the dirt outside, and Lavarnway with a nice play to block that.
Good slide to his right by Lavarnway to block that ball. Keep Davis at third base. Keep Rasmus at first base. Slider that time coming back toward Lavarnway just a bit.
In the dirt outside of the backhand. Lavarnway that time, and it's 3-1. Rajai Davis at third base. Kobe Rasmus at first base. One down and a run in for the Blue Jays as they bat here in the top half of the fourth inning. And ball four will load the bases. So the second walk given up by Dempster. This is now filled with Blue Jays for Meiser as Turris, and here comes Juan Nieves, the pitching coach. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
That blimp there looks like it's moving pretty quick.
It is. Would you go up in a blimp if
No.
given the opportunity? No.
No.
No go.
No. That or a helicopter.
Oh, really? You don't like helicopters?
Not crazy about them, no.
Really?
They just kind of hover.
Yeah, you don't like that.
I want to move.
I don't have any problems with helicopters. I don't think I could do the blimp. Which is a strike to Meiser as Turris. Turris flied out to left field in the third inning. That's here. The base is loaded, one out in the top of the fourth. Blue Jays already have a run in. As Turris this season is 0 for 2. The base is loaded. Davis at third, Rasmus at second, Arancibia at first with one out. And a foul ball off to the left, 1-2.
Let's see now 1-2 if Dempsey goes to that split-fingered fastball trying to get a ground ball and get out of this inning.
Up and away, 2-2.
That's back to the fastball, up and away.
On the ground to first base, tough hop, but it's picked by Nava. The second for one, back to first, not in time, and a run scores. In from third base is Rajai Davis. Nice pick there at first base by Nava. Tried to start the double play. They get Arancibia at second.
Yeah, that ball took a tricky hop on Nava, and he had to go up to get it. That kind of threw the timing off a little bit for the double play. See that bounce right there? And a little crow hop step by Nava to second base, and that may have cost him the double play. But that tricky hop threw all the timing off on that play. Iglesias back to Dempster. Didn't miss it by very much.
So first and third tying run now 90 feet away for the Blue Jays. Miyonori Kawasaki, the batter, singled in the third inning. There's one of 4 Blue Jays hits in the game. And Kawasaki takes strike one. On the ground towards second, Pedroia will flip to second for the force out that ends the inning. Well, Jenny Dell will have a Fenway fan story for you when we come back to Fenway Park. Have the lead over the Blue Jays as Toronto makes some noise in the top half of the inning, scoring twice. Mark Burley back on the mound here for the Blue Jays. And the bottom third of the Red Sox order, Ryan Lavarnway, Jose Iglesias, and Brandon Snyder. The first pitch ball off the outside edge. Ryan Lavarnway doubled. Ground rule double down the right field line, picked up an RBI. His 4th RBI of the year for the Red Sox. This marks his 3rd stint in the majors with Boston as Burley tries to pick up that outside corner again and cannot. 2-0. There's ball 3 down, 3-0. Barnway take it all the way. Strike one. Fouled off down the right field line. Full count. Jose Iglesias waiting on deck. Then we'll see Brandon Snyder here in the inning. Lavarnway to center field. Rasmus is there. He'll put it away. NESN's coverage of Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Eastern Bank. Put your family first, your job first, even your team first. Isn't it time someone put you first? Eastern Bank does just that with products like Eastern Free Checking. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank. Lots of sailboats out on the Charles today. A nice day in Boston. 83 degrees when we started here today. And a hazy sunshine. There's a ground ball softly hit right side to Kawasaki. And Iglesias retired. 2 down. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, I'm lucky enough to be joined here by Marissa Pressman, 10-year-old, very special little girl. So you've raised some money for Jump Ropes for Heart. Tell us about that charity.
Well, it's really about helping other kids with their heart problems and if they don't feel well. So I just thought I should help them. So over the past 4 years, I've raised $2,600 for them.
That's amazing. And what led you to go do this?
Well, I just want everybody to feel good about themselves and so they can enjoy a Red Sox game like this.
Now, you've done some other pretty special things. Take us through some of those.
Well, about the Boston bombing, me and my family know this family that really got really badly hit with it. And so basically I wanted to raise money for them. So I raised $120 making friendship bracelets for them. And my mom and dad matched it. So the total was $240.
You're a pretty special girl here, and you were honored today by the Red Sox, and you got to throw out the first pitch. What was your favorite part of being here at Fenway?
Probably seeing myself on the Jumbotron because it's pretty big. And I was just really excited to see my name and me walking on the field because it's just amazing.
Well, I think you're amazing. Thank you so much for being our fan of the game. Jerry Remy bought you and your dad some hot dogs, so thanks for all that you do. Keep up the good work. And fans at home, if you have a unique reason of why you're coming to Fenway, go to NESN.com/stories. Let us know why, and I may interview you in a future home game.
All right, Jay, thanks very much. Brandon Snyder has flied out to end the inning. We're through 4. It's 3-2 Red Sox. Stay with us and after the game for WB Mason Extra Innings Live. We'll break down all the game action as well as go into the clubhouse for player reaction and John Farrell's press conference. WB Mason Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. And we head into the 5th inning. 3-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Jays. Jose Reyes leading it off. I want to be sure to hang around for NESN Sports today. Tonight at 10 o'clock, Jerry's going to break down the game with his 10 keys to the game today.
I had about 10 written down yesterday.
1-0 to Reyes will miss for ball 2. How many did you have to come up with? 3?
Three.
But it was a tough time weeding it down to the 3, I think.
Yeah.
You had like 5 or 6 written down.
I had a lot of stuff written on my paper that I didn't know which way to go with it, A
couple didn't make the cut, as it turned out.
Oh, was it on?
It was on.
Oh, it was on.
Yeah. On the ground right side, and to his right is Nava. Covering is Dempster for the out. Well, Advil is the official pain reliever of the Boston Red Sox and proud supporter of Volunteers. Go to Advil.com to find out about the Advil Relief in Action campaign. One down in the 5th inning as it brings up Jose Bautista. Bautista's fly to right, grounded back to the mound, 0 for 2. Came up with 2 on in the 3rd inning when he grounded out to the mound. Now he lines this into center field for a base hit. First time Bautista has been on today as the Blue Jays compile their 5th hit off Ryan Dempster.
Yeah, Bautista jumping on that first fastball. A fastball away, but he still hooks it up the middle for the base hit. That swing looks pretty solid right now for Bautista. Of course, the 2 home runs yesterday and picking up this base hit to make him 1 for 3 this afternoon.
One out, one on for Edwin Encarnacion, who has grounded out to third base and singled. After singling in the 4th inning, came around to score the Blue Jays' first run. And a strike 1 to Encarnacion. He didn't think so.
You got to kind of keep an eye on Bautista at first base, too. You don't think of him as a stolen base guy, but he's got 6, and he has not been caught.
Swing and a miss, and it is 0-2. Encarnacion, 30 years of age, from La Romana, the Dominican Republic. He's been in the big league since 2005 when he broke in with the Cincinnati Reds. He's now parts of 4 years with the Jays. Reaches out, fouls it off to the right, out of play. Reyes grounded out. Bautista single to center. 1 out, 1 on here in the Blue Jays' 5th inning. Time called very late, and Dempster, about to throw, is able to stop himself.
A lot of times you'll see pitchers just go through with the motion and the throw so they don't hurt their arm. That was a very late time call, as you can see right there. Dempster well into his delivery to home plate.
Now ground ball towards short, could be 2. Iglesias to second for 1, on to first, it is 2. 6-4-3 on the twin killing that ends the top of the 5th inning. Halfway through this one, it's 3-2 Red Sox. Well, tonight at 6 on the Summer of Fun, it continues on Charlie Moore Outdoors. Join Charlie for all the fun, fishing, and more. An all-new Charlie Moore Outdoors tonight at 6 right here on Nesson. Last half of the 5th inning at Fenway Park, 3-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Jays. Top of the Red Sox order, Jacoby Ellsbury. Shane Victorino and Dustin Pedroia in the inning as Ellsbury takes strike one. Jacoby has grounded out to second base and walked in 2 plate appearances today. To left field. Davis on the run is not going to get there. It'll get in. Those are in the backhand. Ellsbury throws the brakes on. A single to begin things here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Now that is now an 11-game hitting streak for Jacoby Ellsbury. A little bit toward the end of the bat that time, and slices it to left field for the base hit. That ball down and away. That's pretty nice hitting by Jacoby. Good pitch by Burley. Better hitting by Ellsbury.
Lead runner on here in the 5th inning for Boston. Shane Victorino coming up. See the 11-game hit streak for Ellsbury, now hitting at .413. Victorino showing bunt, drops it down foul.
Victorino right there bunting for a base hit, not sacrificing in that situation. Trying to drop one down that third base line and catch his tourist back.
Popped up foul off to the right. Victorino down 0-2. Lost last time out for Burley. That was against Tampa Bay. Outing in which he lasted 5 innings and threw 99 pitches. He is 0-2. Victorino turns on this and sends it foul. Kicks off the facade and back down again. Rajay Davis got to run it down. It's way out on left center field after the ricochet.
I think he wanted to throw it to the fans in the monster seats, but went right over the top of the monster seats.
That's 75 on the day for Mark Burley. And Victorino takes ball 1-1-2. Jerry, we had the chance to be on television in between innings on the Bluth blimp shot. Well, actually, this is live right now.
Oh, is it really?
We're on television right now.
Yeah, it's coming this way. It's right there. Hi, guys.
Throw to first base and back is Ellsbury. Never give up the chance to be on television. Ellsbury 32 out of 35 in thefts at first base with nobody out here in the 5th. And Victorino fouls it off down the right field line, out of play.
I noticed you've taken your sport coat off. Last couple of days you've had sport coats on that a couple of years old. I've seen them in the past and they're still in your rotation, but I think they need some alterations. I think they need to be taken out just a bit.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that they're a little bit snug around the middle. And we have proof of that.
I have to admit to you something, and I'm blaming you for this. When you left, I stopped running.
Why?
Well, because I had to pay more attention, I think, to
what you were doing,
partner, what they were going to be doing that night, and I got more locked in during the day on the road, especially getting ready for the game. So I stopped running.
So it's total preparation all day long.
Exactly. Ellsbury takes off, ground ball to third base. It'll stay out of a double play, but Victorino will be out at first base as Ellsbury takes second. So what you're saying is I've gained weight.
Well, I think you were saying that.
Yeah.
I think you. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it yesterday. You had your burlap bag jacket on, and today was another stunt. Now there's your kitchen.
I'm boiling.
Yeah.
I am boiling. Look at that.
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
So I think you need alterations.
Taken out a little bit.
Yes, on the sides. Let it come out on the sides.
It's very uncomfortable. It's like I'm a sausage, you know. So we have to work on that. But that was an older jacket, too. So it may not be that I've actually.
No, I've seen that a number of times. It's a once-a-year jacket.
Yes, it is in the rotation. It has to be worn.
But it has to be tailored.
Pedroia takes a pitch outside. Yeah, today was sort of the same thing, but it was an older jacket.
You had the same situation today, yes. It was a jacket that we've seen before that you've worn a few times, and it was a little snug. So I think the folks at Over at Eastern Clothing will have a couple of sport coats that they can work on while we're on the road.
I think Joe Stafford a little concerned that one of those buttons was going to pop off during the opening, headed his direction. That'll miss, and it's 2-0 to Pedroia. Should have warned people before we put that on television to look away. Or
and that was just normal breathing.
Just in and out, you know, breathing.
Yeah.
Normally. Wasn't running or anything. It's in their first strike, and it's 2-1.
And that become a big hit on YouTube, you know, the boiler dance.
It was boiling. One out runner at second as Pedroia fouls it off himself, and it is 2-2. Outfield set up straight away here on Pedroia. Walked in the first inning, reached on a fielder's choice in the second. And Pedroia fouls it off. Got a piece of Aaron Sebia on the way by. Well, David Ortiz has a day off today. This youngster probably disappointed David's not in the lineup. But finally getting a day off today. Of course, the scheduled off day tomorrow, so kind of 2 days off, although I see David pinch hit in this game perhaps. Pedroia fouls off another pitch. Single by Ellsbury to begin the inning. Victorino grounding out to third base, 1 on, 1 out. Red Sox on top by a run as they bat here in the fifth. And a swing and a miss as Pedroia strikes out. Burley finally gets him as he changes up, and that is strikeout number 4 for Mark Burley.
Maybe the best changeup he's featured so far in this game today. A lot of breaking balls that time to Pedroia, curve balls, and of course the changeup right there to put him away. So Ellsbury still at second base now with 2 outs.
So 2 down here in the fifth for Johnny Gomes. And Gomes grounded back to the mound in the first inning. Struck out swinging in the third, 0 for 2. Red Sox with 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors. The Jays 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. On the ground foul outside of third. Well, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards their $25,000 donation this season. Outside 1-1. Joseph Abood in the house today here at Fenway Park.
As a matter of fact, that jacket does not fit anymore. That is a Joseph Abood jacket. All his stuff fits.
Yes, it does. This is turned on by Gomes, fouled off down the left field line. Ellsbury single to begin the inning. Now at second base with 2 down. Red Sox getting their 3 runs today in the second inning. Blue Jays got 2 in the fourth, and here we are in the bottom of the fifth. Gomes will hit one high and deep in the air to left field. Rajai Davis back at the wall. It's off the wall. And around from second comes Ellsbury. He'll score, throw to second, and Gomes has got himself a double. The Red Sox take the 4-2 lead. Kawasaki thought he had him on the overslide of second base.
It looked like when it left the bat, it had a chance to get out of the ballpark. A breaking ball that time, and Gomes also thought maybe it had enough. But right at the top of the wall, bounces off the wall. Nice relay here by Davison at second base. Johnny Gomes almost overslides the bag, is able to reach back and get it with his hand, and the safe call is made. There it comes off and back on, very close.
So Johnny Gomes able to pick up his 20th RBI of the year. Wall ball double here that scores Jacoby Ellsbury, and here is Mike Napoli. They'll take a pitch for a strike over the outside corner. Napoli didn't think so. Napoli now to left field. Davis will move back onto the track and make the catch right in front of the wall to end the inning. And a run for the Red Sox as Jacoby Ellsbury scores. Johnny Gomes driving it in. Sox have a 4-2 lead. into the top half of the 6th inning. Josh Tolley to lead it off as he takes a pitch up high, ball 1. 2 for 20 so far in the majors. Took over for Adam Lind at first base. And flied out to left field in the 4th inning. Take a pitch up and away, and it's 2-0.
Tolley at first base today, replacing Adam Lind, but also a catcher on his resume.
Dempster falling behind 3-0 as he works here in the 6th inning. Dempster last time out going 6 innings, throwing 106 pitches. And on 4 pitches, he walks Toll to begin things here in the 6th inning. Well, time now for the Coors Light Refresherator. Today it's Koji Uehara, who in his first week as a Red Sox closer was 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Uehara pitched 3 perfect innings over 3 days, picking up 6 strikeouts and needing only 44 total pitches in 3 games. Sox fans, there's a new reliever in town, and he's throwing silver bullets. And Koji Uehara available today. He was not available yesterday. Turned out Red Sox did not need him yesterday. This is to left field, and that's going to get in for a base hit for Rajai Davis. As to second goes Toll. Runners at first and second with nobody out.
Now, Rajai Davis was involved back in the 4th inning. A base hit, a stolen base in that inning. He gets the slider that time from Dempster and puts it in the left field for the base hit. Of course, in the 4th inning when he was involved, they scored 2 runs.
Two on, nobody out in action for the first time today in the Red Sox pen. Craig Breslow up and warming. As Kobe Rasmus about to stand in here for the Jays. Rasmus flied out in the 2nd inning, single to drive in a run in the 4th inning, 1 for 2. Rasmus, 26 years old, from Columbus, Georgia, and he'll send one into center field. Base hit as Toll will be stopped at third base, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the 6th inning.
Now, this is the kind of combination that did it to the Red Sox back in the 4th. It was Davis, and then Rasmus had a base hit to foul to drive in a run. This time he takes it right into center field, and very quickly the base is loaded with nobody out.
Ace Ticket brings you the pitching line for Ryan Dempster. 5+, 7 hits, 2 runs. He has walked 3 and struck out 2. So in 89 pitches. And in some trouble here in the 6th inning. He walked Toll. He gave up a single to Davis, a single to Rasmus. And the bases are filled with Jays for J.P. Arancibia, who has fouled out and walked in 2 plate appearances today. And a swing and a miss for strike 1.
And that's what Dempster is hoping for right here, a strikeout. Arancibia has struck out 87 times this season. Very good numbers, though, with the bases loaded in his career.
And 1 for 4 this season with 5 RBIs. In the dirt, blocked that time by Lavarnway.
Lavarnway sliding to his right. It's a slider. It's going to come back just a bit and get him right in the chest protector.
In the dirt outside for ball 2, 2-1.
3 straight sliders now by Dempster. Arancibia did chase the first one, but stays off the next 2.
Yeah, the swing and a miss. 2-2. Foul tip that time into LeBarnway's mitt.
First fastball that Aaron Sebia has seen in this at bat, but it was away from him. So far, everything away. The breaking ball and the fastball.
Sebia stays alive, fouls it off, and he'll see a 6th pitch in this at bat. It's not been a big strikeout day today for Dempster, so used to seeing some pretty big numbers put up by him in that regard, but today only the 2 strikeouts. You got Reyes in the first, Davis in the second inning. Love to get Aaron Sebia here. Here's a 2-2 pitch. And this is lined down the right field line, a foul ball. Toll at third, Davis at second, Rasmus at first, nobody out. And a pop-up in the infield. The shortstop, Iglesias, with the infield fly rule in effect, makes the catch for the first out of the 6th inning.
Well, no strikeout, but a big out, obviously, for Dempster. Gets that pop up the shortstop on the splitter. Out comes John Farrell. And making the call of the bullpen.
He's Craig Breslow warming in the pen. That'll be the day for Ryan Dempster, who goes 5 1/3 innings, responsible for the men on. So the pitching change from Fenway with the Red Sox on top 4-2. Post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, the Red Sox Foundation's home base program treats them. We thank H.B. Hood for supporting the Red Sox Foundation's efforts. Now this call to the bullpen is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Craig Breslow into the game for the Red Sox as he takes over with 1 out and bases loaded. Tough situation. 26th appearance, 2-1 with a 2.55 earned run average. 24 2/3 innings, 13 strikeouts. Opponents sitting at 239. That's Craig Breslow.
This will switch his Taurus around to the right side of the plate, where his average has been a 267 right-handed, hitting left-handed 210.
Bases loaded here, filled with Blue Jays as Meiser's Turris is 0 for 2. Turris did pick up an RBI on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning, his 18th RBI of the year. And he fouls it back. His numbers against Breslow 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts in those 6 at bats against the veteran left-hander. Now Dempster ends up going 5 1/3, responsible for the men on. So far charged with 2 runs on 7 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 2. Here's a pop-up, foul ground. Lavarnway will come back and not have a play. Inning started when Toll walked, Davis singled, Rasmus singled to load the bases with nobody out. J.P. Arancibia pops out to the shortstop Jose Iglesias for the first out of the inning, and now Craig Breslow enters into the fray here, and he does have action behind him. Alex Wilson warming in the Boston pen. Breslow working yesterday. 2 unearned runs on 2 hits allowed yesterday as he worked in the 9th inning against the Jays. His 0-2 is popped up again, the left side of the infield. His Turris will make the catch again. The infield fly rule, 2 down.
Oh, what a good pitch that was by Breslow right there. I mean, he got inside, in tight on his Turris, and there's not much his Turris could do except pop that up. See the location of this pitch. It's going to be on the inside part of the plate, actually off the plate, but his Turris chases it and pops it up. The Pit Zone on NESN is brought to you by Amica. Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance.
And a pinch hitter coming up here for Kawasaki. It'll be Emilio Bonifacio. The pinch hits. Kawasaki had been 1 for 2. And a base hit back in the 3rd inning, but pinch hit here for Bonifacio. And he'll take a pitch outside, ball 1. 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter. And 0 for 3 in his career against Craig Breslow. Outside for ball 2, 2-0. It was a bases loaded, nobody out situation. Now bases loaded, 2 down. And Bonifacio swings and misses at that, 2-1.
And Breslow goes to something off speed on the 2-0 count with the bases loaded. Bonifacio sitting all over a fastball, instead gets the breaking ball.
This one fouled back, and it's 2-2. Bases loaded, 2 down. Jose Reyes waiting on deck. Anyway, faithful trying to cheer on Craig Breslow to get out of this jam here in the 6th inning. And he does. Strikes out Bonifacio to end the inning. Jays had the bases loaded with nobody out. Breslow gets out of it. lineup at Buick.com. The Red Sox starting the day with a 2.5 game lead over the Orioles, who won last night and played tonight against New York at Camden Yards. Yankees 5.5 games back. The Rays 6. And the Blue Jays are 7.5 games back of the Red Sox, and Boston with a 4-2 lead here against the Jays as we head into the home half of the 6th inning. Mark Buehrle back on the mound again. It is 6, 7, and 8 for the Red Sox. Nava, Lavarnway, and Iglesias expected in the inning. Nava takes strike one. Single to right in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to second base in the 3rd. 1 for 2. And staying in the game and in at second base is Emilio Bonifacio after he pinch hit for Yunori Kawasaki and struck out with the bases loaded. Outside for ball 2, 2-1. Nava turns on this and grounds it foul. Some fancy footwork by Brian Butterfield down there at third. Downfield straight away here on Nava. Will be followed by Lavarnway and Iglesias in the inning. And a ground ball left side. Ranging to his left is Torres, and he'll throw out Nava. As we check back in with Jenny Dell.
Don R.A. Dickey and Neston's own Tim Wakefield, who's on our post-game show today in the house here today. So fans at home, if you want to learn how to throw a knuckleball, you can go and check it out. Paw Sox pitcher Stephen Wright will show you how. If you just go to the QR code on your screen right now, scan it with your smartphone, and you can access an exclusive video, or text knuckleball to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Don?
All right, Jay, thank you very much. I finally got around to seeing the movie. Have you seen the Tim Wakefield, R.A. Dickey movie?
No, I have not seen it yet.
It's pretty good. Charlie Huff is in it. Had the chance when we were in Detroit to see it. This is out in the air to left center field. And from center it is Rasmus who makes the catch, 2 down. It's time now for a Toyota game break. Here's Tom Caron. All right, Tom, thanks very much. We're looking forward to that postgame on Yawkey Way here today. Is with 2 outs in the 6th inning, Jose Iglesias stands in and takes strike one.
Now, Tom Caron has been spending time up in the booth here today with Tim Wakefield, and of course they're going to be at Yawkey Way after the game. Tom should be back here very shortly after his hit on Yawkey Way.
This is blooped into center field. It's going to get in for a base hit. Jose Iglesias with his first hit of the day.
Iglesias just reaching out on a ball that was away from him and bloops it into center field for the 2-out base hit. Pretty good pitch by Buehrle, but Iglesias able to cover the plate and pick up the base hit into center field. So he's on a 4-game hitting streak.
That was amazing. TC was down on Yawkey Way for that hit, and he is back already.
Already back in front of in back of his is that an iPad?
Yes. 100th pitch of the day for Buehrle is going to miss down and in.
We have a lot of guests in the booth today. Your daughter's here.
Yeah, Sydney's here with us today. Today is also the last day for Rachel Holt. We wish her the best. Our great stage manager is headed to Idaho, Jerry.
Yes, Twin Falls, Idaho, to become a news anchor.
So if you are in Idaho and you're a Red Sox fan, you will see Rachel very soon. She'll be on the air. She has learned absolutely nothing from us in her time spent up here in the booth. How not to broadcast. 2-0 is sent foul. Hot shot into the seats.
And we've had a number of associates that have worked with us in the booth that have gone on to do great things. And you're right, Don. They don't learn anything from us.
No, they get nothing.
It's all on their own.
Absolutely nothing.
Who else we got up here today? We got Tom, Tim.
We got Tim Wakefield up top.
Lucas Mancini's here today,
yes.
Chris's son.
Yes. All kinds of people here. Very busy booth today.
Yes.
Lots of activity. Throw to first base, and back is Iglesias. Last time Sydney was here, Joe Castiglione put her on the air to talk about his book. She was reading. She was reading Joe's book. Throw to first, and back is Iglesias. So she was reading Joe's book and still is. She loves Joe Castiglione's book.
Now she told me, yes, it was very, very interesting.
2-1 is popped up foul off to the right. Have you read Joe's book?
No.
It's pretty good. He's got a couple. He's written several. So this one, Can You Believe It, is good.
Oh, so that's the name of it?
Yes.
Can You Believe It?
Yeah. It talks about how he was, in Cleveland first and Milwaukee, and at one point Joe was a DJ. He used to spin the hits. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he was a DJ. You learn all that when you read Joe's book. This is popped up foul off to the right, out of play.
I'll bet she's going to learn more from the next book she reads.
Yes, she is going to read Watching Baseball from Jerry Remy is the next on her list.
She'll know. She'll come up here. She'll know everything about baseball.
Yep. She'll walk in here and say, change up. She'll know exactly what to watch for. How many editions is that on now?
I have no idea.
Several. I mean, I know you updated it after the World Series and everything else. 2-2 is in the air to left center field, and from left comes Davis. He'll make the catch that will end the inning. We head to the 7th, 4-2 Red Sox. Design, performance, and technology come together in one stylish package, and now is the perfect time to experience it for yourself. See your local Buick dealer. You know, 4-2 Red Sox have the lead. More Craig Breslow as he returns to the hill. As Jose Reyes, batting for the 4th time today, has struck out, walked, and grounded out. And sends this one high and deep to left. Gomes back, looking up, and it is gone. Into the first row of the monster seats for Jose Reyes. Both of his home runs this season have come against the Red Sox. And Reyes touches them all. It's a 1-run game.
Now one from the left side of the plate. This time hitting right-handed. Reyes goes deep. John Farrell quickly out of that dugout. Right-handed action in the bullpen, and he's going to make the move.
So Breslow gives up the home run that begins this 7th inning. It's a 4-3 Red Sox lead, and Alex Wilson will be coming in. Run into the monster seats. It is 4-3. And the end of the day for Breslow after this.
Well, Breslow did a great job getting out of trouble in the 6th inning, but the first batter in the 7th, Reyes gets an inside fastball and finds the monster seats, first row. And we've got a 1-run ball game here at Fenway.
Jose Bautista is coming up here to face the new pitcher, Alex Wilson, into his 23rd game, 1-1 with a 3.38 earned run average, 24 innings, 19 strikeouts to 12 walks, and opponents hitting at .290. There's action behind him. Andrew Miller is up in the pen. The Red Sox trying to piece this together now the rest of the way after Ryan Dempster leaves after 5 1/3 innings. Here's Bautista, and he will line it to center field for a base hit. His second hit of the day. Both have gone to center.
He's just on everything right now. I mean, the last couple of days he's had some great swings. Obviously with a couple of home runs yesterday. 2 hard line drives up the middle in this ball game this afternoon. One off Dempster. Last time up, this time off Wilson.
Edwin Encarnacion has singled and is 1 for 3 today. That single coming in the 4th inning, scored a run. As he takes ball 1 low and away. Red Sox had a 3-0 lead and then led 4-2. It's now 4-3. Wilson working yesterday in relief of Dubron as he came in the 7th inning with 1 on and 1 out. Got 2 flyouts to end the inning. Got out of the jam. Encarnacion hits a fly ball down the right field line. Foul ground. Now the wind takes it back, and Pedroia makes the catch in fair ground as it works out. Very similar to a ball down in that direction earlier that ended up going into the stands for a ground rule double for Ryan Lavarnway.
Yeah, the breeze quite not as strong as it was earlier in the ball game, and Pedroia able to track this one with not much problem. Did have a long way to go because he was in that double play position, so quite a bit of ground to cover, but is able to make the catch.
So John Farrell out to make the change here as facing 2 batters is Alex Wilson. Andrew Miller coming into the game for the Red Sox. Pitching change with the Red Sox on top 4-3.
Top of the 7th, and earlier we asked fans at home what they feel like is most affected in the game of baseball when there are quick pitchers working, and here are some of the best tweets brought to you by AT&T. KL Sox says a quick working pitcher definitely puts the pressure on the batter to get in the box and swing away. Greg Colley believes the defense is on its toes and sharper when a pitcher keeps a good pace, and Bo Sox news feed said base stealers are affected by the quick pitcher. It's difficult to get a good jump and get lucky with a bad pitch. Don?
All right, Jay, thank you very much. As Andrew Miller comes into the game, 36th appearance, 1-2, the 2.79 earned run average, 46 strikeouts to 16 walks. Opponents hitting at 220 against Miller. And he comes in with Jose Bautista at first base. One out in the inning, and here's Josh Toole. And send one foul. He's been something different every time he's come up.
It's Tolle, isn't it?
I think it's Toll.
Toll?
Toll. Yeah. I just called him a tool. The 0-1 pitch is fouled back. 0-2 the count. Originally, they had announced in the press box that it was Tooley. That's how we started there.
Right.
And then we moved on to other stuff.
How about just Josh?
Toll waiting here on a pitch as he'll take it low and away. Did he go? No, says Dan Bellino.
And Miller tries that sidearm slider that time, and Josh does not bite at it. That's a tough pitch for a left-handed hitter. I mean, you see the pitch drop down to the side, the breaking ball.
Two balls, two strikes to Toll with a runner at first and one out. Outside for ball 3. Andrew Miller get his first win of 2013 on Friday night against Toronto. Went an inning and a third scoreless. Gave up a hit and had a strikeout. His last 19 appearances, only given up runs in 4 of those outings. And a swing and a miss. Toll strikes out. First K for Miller, 2 down.
And there's the confidence in Andrew Miller going with that breaking ball on the 3-2 count. As a left-handed hitter, you're thinking about fastball. You get that nasty breaking ball, and he cannot control the head of the bat. Big strikeout for Miller.
2 down, Bautista at first base, and Rajai Davis the batter. Davis struck out in the second. Since then, he has singled twice and scored a run. Wild swing and a miss, and a pitch down and in.
Slider again from Andrew Miller, and a wild swing that time by Rajai Davis.
Remarkably, left-handed batters are actually doing better against Miller. They're hitting at 278.
I don't get that.
Right-handers are hitting only at 164 against Andrew Miller. And he jumps ahead 0-2. A good fastball at 96.
I can tell you, as a left-handed hitter, I would want no part of him at all. He's too big, he's too tall, he throws too hard, and his slider's too good. I don't want any part of him.
Little tight hamstring, you know.
Now, I'd take my at-bats, but they wouldn't be good.
0-2. And Davis strikes out. Tough at bat. And a great sequence for Andrew Miller. Back-to-back strikeouts and a job nicely done. The Jays do get a run in the top half of the 7th inning on 2 hits. And it is a 1-run game now. Red Sox have a 4-3 lead. We will keep it right here at Fenway Park for the 7th inning stretch for God Bless America.
Center field video board. We thank you for your continued support of the Red Sox Foundation. We now ask you to please rise and stretch and sing along with Fenway Park organist Josh Cantor as he plays Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But first, to lead us in the singing of God Bless America, we welcome a 13-year-old Red Sox.
America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide below. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
A 4-3 lead. And to celebrate the school year coming to a close, the Red Sox have had a month-long celebration called Calling All Kids Month, presented by Hood. And today, the final day, members of Red Sox Kid Nation were invited to a kids-only press conference at Clay Buck Hotel. He had a nice little Q&A there. And Wally welcomed in some mascot friends. And before the game, the players were allowed to take their kids onto the field for a little pregame ceremony. It was a great conclusion to a month-long celebration. Don?
All right, Jay, thank you very much. And a lot of those mascots hanging around. In fact, Slugger is still here at the ballpark this afternoon. And Oakland A's mascot here as well. I understand the Arizona Diamondbacks mascot was also part of this today. I did not see the Texas Rangers mascot, however.
He stays in Texas.
Jacoby Ellsbury leading it off here in the 7th.
Some guy with a head to tail.
Dustin McGowan makes his 6th appearance of the year. No record of 4.15 earned run average. Opponent sitting at 222 against McGowan. Takes over for Mark Burley with the first 6 innings today for the Jays. In there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Ellsbury, Victorino, and Pedroia to bat in the inning. Lands it foul off to the left. Burley went 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. He walked 2, struck out 4. And through 105 pitches, he is on the hook today. Came in at 4-5 for John Gibbons. Up high for ball 2, 2-2.
So important to get Jacoby on base to lead off this inning, get the igniter on. 1-run ball game, getting late in the game.
Grounds it foul. We'll do it again. 2-2. David Ortiz just picked up that foul ball, flipped it back of the dugout as the day off. This one fouled back, still 2-2. Next pitch will be the 8th of the at bat for Jacoby Ellsbury to begin this bottom of the 7th inning. In the air, foul off to the left, and that'll get out of play.
McGowan keeps pounding fastballs into Jacoby Ellsbury.
Swing and a miss, and striking out is Jacoby Ellsbury to begin things here in the 7th. Pretty good battle, but in the end, McGowan gets him.
Yeah, just as we mentioned, all the fastballs, he goes to the slider. And a very good slider to get Jacoby Ellsbury for the first out here in the 7th inning.
One down in the 7th inning. Shane Victorino coming up here. He is 0 for 3 today. He's flied out to center, struck out looking, and grounded out to third base. In there for strike 1. This one chopped softly off the mound is McGowan. He had the only chance, and he gets him. Nice play. Just in time to get Victorino. No chance for his turns coming from third, and McGowan helps himself out. 2 down.
Now, he made a brilliant play on that because, you know, right-handers fall off toward first base, and he had to quickly regroup, get down that third base line, bare-hand the ball on a bounce, and still throw out a very fast Victorino at first base. Very nice play by McGowan, the pitcher.
2 outs here in the 7th inning for Dustin Pedroia. Reached in the first inning on a walk, grounded into a fielder's choice in the 2nd, and then struck out in the 5th. Red Sox trying to secure their 50th win of the year. They come in at 49-34. And holding on to a 4-3 advantage as they bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Outside, 2-0. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Pedroia hits a one-hopper to short, picked by Reyes on the backhand. And a good throw to first that ends the 7th inning. Sox down in order. We head for the 8th. 4-3 Boston. The Toronto Blue Jays, we head to the top half of the 8th inning. Kobe Rasmus, JP Arancibia, and Meiser Turris scheduled to bat in the inning. Andrew Miller back out there again. We're seeing more of this lately from Miller, in which he works more than an inning. Here's a bunt bid, and Miller quickly off the mound. His throw is just in time to get Rasmus. The both pitchers in the game right now fielding their position extremely well.
Andrew Miller showing great agility right there. Remember, big, tall guy, and is able to get down that third base line, bare hand the bunt, pretty good bunt. Plant and throw to first base, throw a strike to first base to Daniel Nava. Yeah, that's 2 good plays by the pitchers in this last inning.
And 1 down here in the 8th, and JP Arancibia the batter. We're starting to see Andrew Miller being used a little bit differently here, in that he will work an inning, sit down, and start another inning. Coming back a few times doing that lately. John Farrell comfortable with that as Arancibia fouls it off to the right out of play. And I guess it's all part of a new bridge now to get to the closer. Everybody kind of in different roles now, with Bailey being moved out of the closer spot and Koji Uehara finishing games.
Yeah, things a little bit jumbled up down in the bullpen for the Red Sox right now.
1-1 on the ground down the line at third. Snyder gets it on the backhand and a good throw. 2 down.
Hey, he's had a nice day. Nice defensive play by Snyder. Of course, he had a big hit back in the second inning, a double to drive in 2 runs. Takes 2 bases maybe away right here from Aaron Sebia. Playing fairly close to that line with the 1-1 lead, trying to prevent the 2-base hit. Not only does he do that, he gets the out at first base.
Well, it's ball 1 now to Meiser is Turris. 0 for 3 in the game today, batting out of the 8th spot for the Blue Jays. Wraps it foul, evens it 1-1. Did he go? They check. No, he did not, says Mike Everett, first base umpire. Outside, and it is 3-1. Missing on the fastball that time at 94 miles an hour. And a pop-up foul ground that'll get back and out of play. Now this game summary is brought to you by Xfinity from Comcast. Burley, the starter for the Blue Jays, is on the hook as he goes 6 innings. Reyes with a home run, his 2nd of the year, while Dempster goes 5 1/3. Pitcher of record right now on the winning side for the Red Sox. Snyder 1 for 3 with a double and a couple of runs driven in, and Brian Lavarnway has got a hit in this game and an RBI. Outside ball 4, and his Turris will reach. A 2-out base on balls, and the first batter to reach against Andrew Miller. On the tee, at home, or at your desk. Less than 5 minutes a day is all it takes. Vote for your favorite Red Sox 35 times and automatically be entered into a sweepstakes for a signed jersey and a meet and greet with a 2013 Red Sox All-Star. Vote today at MLB.com/vote. 2 down, a runner at first, and here's Bonifacio. Hits a fly ball out to center field. Playable for Jacoby Ellsbury. Makes the catch and ends the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's 4-3 Boston. as the Red Sox come to bat here on top by a run, looking to add to it, grab an insurance run perhaps. As Johnny Gomes, Mike Napoli, and Daniel Nava expected in the inning, as Justin McGowan back on the hill again, and his breaking ball is in there for strike one. Gomes today has grounded back to the mound, struck out swinging, and doubled to drive in a run. Red Sox closer Koji Uehara getting ready in the pen. In the bottom of the ninth inning, it is tough. He's going to face the top of the Blue Jays order. In the top of the ninth inning, I should say, Jose Reyes, Jose Bautista, and Edwin Encarnacion are the expected batters. So it is the toughest part of this Blue Jays order that he's got to deal with.
I know the couple of runs here by the Sox offense wouldn't hurt at all.
Strike over the outside corner. Gomes didn't like it. 2-2. This one tap foul, still 2-2. Napoli waiting on deck, then Nava expected to bat in the inning. Gomes grounds it foul in and behind the Blue Jays dugout. Gomes pops it up. And the catcher Aaron Sebia, down from third comes his Turris. It'll be his Turris who makes the catch for the first out here at the bottom of the eighth inning. Well, Hess and Hess Express are proud sponsors of the Red Sox, and during the 2013 season they'll once again donate $500 for the pediatric trauma program at Boston Children's Hospital for every home run hit by the Sox. Hess and Hess Express committed to helping the cause. One down here in the eighth inning, and Mike Napoli is the batter. He singled back in the second inning and scored. Since then, he has flied out to center and flied out to the warning track in left field. There is strike one. Four runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Jays. Tap foul, 0-2. Very high. Aaron Sebia coming out of the crouch to reel that in.
You see him coming out of the crouch high, wants the high fastball, but they want something that's tempting that'll be a swung at by Napoli. And this not even close.
Two and two. A little bit low, and it is a full count now to Napoli. Daniel Nava waiting on deck. Swing and a miss, and Napoli strikes out. Second strikeout for McGowan. 2 down in the 8th. Well, it's time now for a look at the road ahead. Brought to you by Safeco Insurance. On Tuesday, the Red Sox resume interleague play when they welcome the Padres to town. Padres enter the day 1 game under 500. Offensively are led this year by some unfamiliar faces. Kyle Blanks leads the team in RBIs, while Venable leads the team in homers. Last year's breakout star Chase Headley is hitting just .224 with 6 home runs after connecting for 31 home runs in 2012. Our live coverage begins at 6 o'clock on Tuesday with Red Sox first pitch, as Nava takes strike 1. Nava's singling back in the second inning. Since then, he has grounded out to second and grounded out to third. This is by the dive and off the glove. Bonifacio into center field, and Nava is on with 2 outs here in the 8th. His second hit of the afternoon.
Base hit back in the second inning for Nava on a fastball. Base hit right here for Nava on a fastball. Off the deflected glove of Bonifacio at second base. Kind of a mislocation there. They wanted to go away with the fastball. Instead, it stayed down and in a good hitting spot for Daniel Nava.
So 2 down. Nava at first base, and here is Ryan Lavarnway, 1 for 3 today with an RBI double back in the second inning. In there for strike 1. Ball and a strike now to Ryan Lavarnway. Third start since being called up on the 18th of June. Now hit safely in his last 5 major league games. And a chopper up the middle. Bonifacio's got it. He'll flip to Reyes, who tags the bag. That ends the inning. Koji Uehara will be coming in to try to keep this 4-3 lead for the Red Sox. Southwest Airlines, the New England Subaru dealers, Sullivan Tire, Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com, and by New Hampshire Liquor and Wine Outlets, where you'll find the best prices, selection, and convenience. So here we go. In the ninth inning, 4-3, Red Sox have the lead, and Koji Uehara comes into the ballgame trying to close it for the Red Sox once again. He has been terrific in this role. Of course, 3 saves in the last week. On a 1-2-3 ninth Friday against Toronto, got his 4th save. This is his 36th appearance overall. 0-0 with a 1.91 earned run average. 4 out of 5 in save opportunities, but perfect since being named the closer, and opponents hitting at just 162 against him. He has a tough trio coming up here for the Jays, and it starts with Jose Reyes, who takes strike 1.
Yeah, this is about as tough a save situation as you could have. A 1-run lead with Reyes, Bautista, and Encarnacion due up.
Pop up, foul, backing out of play, and Uehara is ahead 0-2. Reyes 0 for 1 in his career against Uehara. Bautista 1 for 7. Which is down low, and Encarnacion is 1 for 3 in his career against Uehara. That'll bounce in to the backstop, 2-2. Andrew Miller went an inning and 2/3, giving him no hits, no runs. He walked a batter and struck out 2. Reyes to right field, down the line. Victorino on the run towards the warning track, makes the catch into the slide to make the grab. Shane Victorino with a good running sliding catch.
Oh, is that ever a tough play for Victorino, because he knows he's getting close to that wall and there is absolutely no room. So he has to go into the slide and then make the catch. I mean, he is out of room. He cannot stand up to make that play. He has to go into the slide. Does so, makes the catch in fair territory, I believe. Yeah.
1 down in the ninth. Nicely done by Shane Victorino. Here's Jose Bautista, who takes strike 1.
A very rare slider that time from Uehara.
Bautista's fly to right, grounded back to the mound, but each of the last 2 times singling sharply to center field. Now he hits one high in the air and deep to left field, and when it comes down, this game is tied. Bautista with his 19th home run of the year, his 3rd in the last 2 days, and it's a 4-4 game.
Well, we talked about Bautista being locked in, and he has been on fire the last couple of days. Looks like a splitter that time. That stays up in the zone, and Bautista, with that slight leg kick, ties the ball game.
So the blown save for Koji Uehara. Now Encarnacion will foul it back. This is back up the middle into center field, and a base hit for Encarnacion. His 2nd hit of the day.
Well, we talked about how difficult this inning was going to be with the guys they had coming up. Reyes, Bautista with the home run. Now Encarnacion with the base hit up the middle.
Now Josh Tolley coming up here for the Jays with 1 on and 1 out. Tully is fly to left, walked and struck out. As he takes strike one. Inside 1-1. The Jays can get a lead. They would bring in their closer Casey Jansen. If not, looks like Juan Perez will be coming in. Jays have tied it up here in the ninth on a home run by Bautista. 1-1 pitch to Tully. And it's fouled off to the left, out of play. 1-2. One-two. Is going to miss. Framed there by Lavarnway, but it's ball two.
Now Uehara wanted that split-fingered fastball. Didn't miss by very much, but I think just a little bit outside.
And he wanted that as well, but instead a full count.
And that one a little bit high.
Rajai Davis waiting on deck. One out, one on. Run in. Runner goes as Tully grounds one down the first baseline. A foul ball. That time on the 3-2 pitch, Encarnacion was off with one out in the inning. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Four runs, 11 hits, no errors for Toronto. 4 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Red Sox. Blue Jays have tied it up here in the ninth on a solo shot by Jose Bautista. Tully strikes out. Foul tipped into Lavarnway's mitt for the second out of the ninth.
A lot of pitches seen by Tully, and that at bat. Finally, Uehara wins the battle on a split-fingered fastball away. Amica Insurance is the proud sponsor of the Amica Pit Zone.
So 2 down. Encarnacion still at first base, and here is Rajai Davis. 2 hits in the game. He is singled twice to left. He's also struck out twice. As they check on Encarnacion at first base.
Encarnacion has 3 steals on the season, has not been caught. Not a very big lead for him over there at first base.
Strike over the outside corner. This is blooped to second. Pedroia's got it. Inning over. So the game is tied now 4-4. Jose Iglesias will lead it off when we come back. Extra Innings Live. Tom Karen leads our breakdown of the highlights as well as player insight and reaction. Live today from Yawkey Way. WB Mason Extra Innings Live. You can't go wrong when you buy right. WB Mason. Jose Bautista had homered in the top half of the ninth inning to tie the score 4-aside. Koji Uehara, the blown save. As this game is tied 4-4 into the bottom of the ninth inning. Into the game is Juan Perez. His ninth appearance, 1-0. 15 innings, he's not given up a run. 15 strikeouts to 3 walks, and opponents hitting at 160 against Perez. Jose Iglesias leading it off here in the bottom of the ninth inning. And Iglesias chops it softly towards second. Bonifacio's throw will be in time. First out of the ninth inning.
And we saw Perez in the ball game the other night here at Fenway Park. He was very impressive against the Red Sox. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the ninth.
He takes over for Dustin McGowan, who went 2 innings giving up a hit, no runs, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 2. Brandon Snyder, the batter, as he doubled back in the second inning to drive in 2 runs. Since then, he has flied out to right and flied out to left. Red Sox have action in the pen. Andrew Bailey is up in the pen. In there for strike 1, 1-1. Red Sox in this game using Breslow, Wilson, Miller, and Uehara in relief of Brian Dempster, who went 5 1/3, not part of the decision. This is to right field, and a base hit for Snyder, his second hit of the day. So he has contributed nicely for the Red Sox on the afternoon.
Yes, he has, offensively and defensively down at third base. The double back in the second inning drove in 2 runs. Now the single with 1 out. Potential winning run at first base.
Now it's back to the top of the Red Sox lineup for Jacoby Ellsbury. Grounded out in the first, walked in the second, singled in the 5th, and struck out in the 7th. There's ball 1 down and away.
Outfield very, very deep for the Blue Jays, trying to keep everything in front of them with that man at first base. Rasmus deep in center, Bautista deep in right.
Casey Jansen, the closer for the Jays, still warming in the pen. Ellsbury with the swing and a miss, 1-1. Shane Victorino waiting on deck. And then Pedroia, if we get that far here in the 9th. Outside Ellsbury, and it is 2-1. As he is grounded out to begin the inning, Brandon Snyder with a base hit to right. Now a 2-1 pitch to Jacoby Ellsbury. That's outside, 3-1. Everything has been out in that general direction.
Yeah, fastballs and sliders from Perez.
Ball 4 and Ellsbury's on. So a walk now given up by Perez. And the winning run moves into scoring position, and moving is John Gibbons to make the change. Going to go get his closer here in this situation. So 2 on, 1 away, and Casey Janssen will come in from the bullpen for the Jays in a 4-4 game from Fenway. In sports today, they'll have a complete wrap of the series finale between the Blue Jays and Red Sox. And Naoko Funayama will get you all the latest Bruins and NHL news from today's NHL draft. All this and much more on NESN Sports Today, tonight at 10, only on NESN. Now it's the bottom of the 9th inning with 1 out, a 4-4 game. The Red Sox have 2 on with 1 out. And John Gibbons goes to get his closer, and Casey Janssen, his 28th appearance of the year, 2-0, the 2.03 earned run average, 24 strikeouts to only 4 walks, and opponents hitting at just 163 against Janssen. Pinch runner for the Red Sox as Jonathan Diaz runs at second base for Brandon Snyder, and likely take over for him defensively at third base. Represents the winning run as standing in is Shane Victorino with 1 out in the 9th inning. Victorino 0 for 6 in his career against Janssen. And Shane takes strike 1. Victorino today 0 for 4. Victorino chops it to first base. Tough up and through into right field. Here comes Diaz around. The throw from right will be very late, and the Red Sox will win it. A 5-4 walk-off win for the Red Sox.
Now the Blue Jays had to make a change earlier in the ballgame when Lynn had to leave. This ground ball's going to eat up Tolley at first base. And the Red Sox get the win in the bottom of the 9th inning on what probably was an error on the first baseman. Yeah, definitely an error.
Tolley is charged with the error. The Red Sox walk off with the win. Diaz comes in, and the Red Sox win it 5-4 in dramatic fashion here from Fenway Park, and they take 3 out of 4 from the Toronto Blue Jays. Send it down to Jenny.
Well, Shane, it was a hard-fought series here at Fenway Park against the Blue Jays. How does it feel to come out on top?
Hey, wherever you get a W, any way to make it happen. Obviously, I was in a situation. I said, just put the ball in play, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, we won the game. That's what it's all about.
You made another impressive play in the outfield in the ninth. How much pride do you take in your defense?
I probably take the most pride in that. I mean, obviously, you're going to slump into plate. You're going to make mistakes on the bases. Obviously, last night, everybody thought about that as I got thrown out at home plate in this situation. But, those kind of stuff is one thing I never take, slack. I never take my time on his defense. I take pride in that. And any way to get outs. And, obviously, unfortunately, we lost the lead there, but we got the W.
The Red Sox now have 50 wins on the season, and it is only June 30th. What has impressed you the most about this team?
As I said, and you guys know in most of my interviews, I hate talking about my times in Philly. But, we talk about the success we had there, and this team shows it at. The team never gives up. We play 27 outs, obviously, today, and that's what it's about. So, hey, 50 wins is not enough. We got to keep going. We got to take one game at a time, though, and we're going to enjoy our families today, enjoy the off day tomorrow, and I'll see you guys all Tuesday.
Thank you, Shane.
So the Red Sox win it 5-4. A walk-off victory from Fenway Park, and the Sox have